Welcome to another inspiring episode of Udan, where ambitions take off. Today, we are thrilled to have a truly remarkable guest here with us who has been also shaping the future of digital marketing and education globally. Joining us today, we have Dr. Raj Padier, an author, a TEDx speaker, a trainer, and only Indian to hold doctorate in digital marketing in from USA. Leading five startups and delivering over 9,000 plus sessions in digital media and blockchain, he has also empowered more than 32,000 professionals worldwide, recognized as one of the most top 10, top 100 smartest digital marketers by the World Marketing Congress. Dr. Raj has also authored two best selling books on digital marketing. So it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Same here. It's great to be at the podcast organized by ESL Shivaji University. Looking forward for the interactive session with many insightful questions and uh, very creative and funny answers.
For sure, for sure. So you in your earlier interviews, you have mentioned that you just had 2% attendance in the college time or as a student. How did that shape you to become a professional in the digital marketing and having a doctorate in terms of it?
See, basically, entering into digital marketing industry was never pre-decided thought. It was always that digital is something which I'm really passionate about. I used to spend a time around 3 to 4 hours daily doing something on social media, doing something on Google. Uh, uh, this was kind of my passion or interest area, like we used to see in childhood days where people actually have a passion of playing cricket, making a career in cricket, making a career in singing, music. So digital was something my passion about, and it was never called digital marketing when I started way back in 2008, but it was just pure passion, which helped me go deeper into that particular subject. Maybe you talk about media platform, maybe you talk about social media. That was something very in a nascent stage, and that
Okay.
basically helped me understand nuances of every aspect of digital, and that is something that made me what I'm here today.
Oh, so in your biography or whatever we have heard upon, we got to know that you and went to Indore for your, going pursuing this digital marketing career. And how, what challenges did you face while doing it, and how it was for you in a personal experience?
See, leaving a home is never a decision that you take it very happily,
True.
and especially uh, because you have spent since childhood till your college days, you have spent time with your family, with your colleagues, with your friends who been entire upbringing happening in Bombay. Leaving everything, it's always most difficult decision of your entire life, and especially by not telling them and leaving upfront, that is was a I would say most difficult decision. I took it just purely because of the passion that I wanted to pursue something on my own. But I never realized the decision that I took, the consequences that I would face in the next 6 months or 1 year. Because when you leave a home, you understand what are the luxuries that you're enjoying at your home, starting from the day that you're getting up to sleeping in the night. All the luxuries that you take it granted, that is a struggle that I faced for a next maybe 6 months to 1 year. And then I started realizing the importance of every aspect of the life, whether it's a struggle, whether it's a success, whether it's startup, whether it's about career, and every aspect. And that is something that taught me the basic nuances of how the startup success be like. So when we talk about startup success, it's not just about funding, valuation, and IPO, but it's more inherent about how you understand about your business, your stakeholders, your customers, your uh, or parents in our case. So the key understanding and USP that I got when I moved from my comfort zone and basically went to a completely new city where I didn't have my parents, where I didn't have any friends, no family members. I was just alone in the new city with the pure passion of making my name, uh, without any blueprint, without any clear strategy, uh, without having any mentor or without any Shark Tank uh, 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 thing that we are basically witnessing
True.
nowadays. But I'm very lucky that I learned all the aspect and nuances of the startup all my own, all by struggle and with this experiences. And right now, whatever smallest of achievement that I made, or maybe I'll be making in future, I give my credit to the decision that I took. And when I say this, I don't uh, uh, expect that people to move out of their home, but at least they should be having into that zone where they are not dependent on anyone, but they should have courage to do something on their own, and they should take the onus of what is their decision and the consequences be like. Right. So that is what my whole experience of leaving the home, and now right now I'm sitting in my home in the same chair where I decided to leave my home. So I guess it's all coming back together with your podcast.
You said that you left your home, that is Mumbai, and you went to Indore. But actually, Mumbai is called the city of dreams. So why did you live there? Because people start from, any media, any Bollywood or Hollywood or whatever it is, it starts from Mumbai. That's the capital for entertainment and everything. We move marketing. But why leave Mumbai and go to Indore, which is something different?
Yeah, so it's a very the question that you asked, that is a similar question that I've been asked by many of the people to me when I share this story, that why you left Indore, why you left Bombay, where Bombay is called the city of dream. People from across the India come to Mumbai to have their dream into reality.
True.
But in my case, maybe in that particular time I was bit naive. I was just purely passionate about achieving something, and Mumbai was somewhere I was too comfortable to take any bold decision, because back then it was like, even if I take any wrong decision, family something like, "ठीक है, don't need to worry, we are there with you." So that was, I was living in that comfort zone. Indore was never in my mind that okay, I need to go to Indore. It's just that I left the home. I went to station. I found the train of Indore, and I just boarded the train. I reached Indore, and it was just the journey that I started without any giving any serious thought, and that is what something it just, I guess it's a karma ultimately at the end of the day, that all the struggle and hustle was meant to be in Indore, and whatever my success journey was there, that was meant to be in the credit of Indore, and I really appreciate the decision and the kind of the support, kind of the success that I got. It's purely belong to Indore, and that is what we like. Having said that, Bombay definitely is a city of dream, and people do come from across the part of India to come to Mumbai. But for me to give a start, where I need to maintain my startup, to have a minimal expenses, to understand the things as well, to sustain as well, I guess Indore was a good start, and now I'm taking on a scalable basis. Now again shifting back to Mumbai, so that I'm bit lucky to have my practice match at Indore, and now taking the final stages in Mumbai with the 4 and 6.
That's nice. And you said you have having startups, and we know that you have 5 startups to be handling yourself. What is the most challenging role do you think, and what is the most fulfilling one you have been experienced or have right now experiencing in your session or in your uh, career?
See, apart from the 5 startup, I am involved in directly, indirectly to advising, mentoring multiple startups as well. But the most challenging part in most of the startup is something where when you devote a time on each and every startup, and you understand why this startup is created, and whether the purpose for which the startup is created, whether it is actually solving the problem or not. Most of the time when you launch a startup, on a day one, your vision is different. On day 30, the vision gets changed. On day 90, the target suddenly gets changed. Suddenly day 120, you see a Shark Tank India, you suddenly change your vision. So that is happening with the lots of young entrepreneurs that I see nowadays, which I interact. So that is the one challenge that I find with the most of the startup founders. So my genuine advice to them is take a startup as a test match, not a 2020. It is a long term tournament where you need to sweat for a total 90 overs, and it might be possible one day you don't get any wickets on day two as well, but you need to struggle and you need to basically wait and give your 100% every day. It's not a 2020 where you win the tournament, you win one match and you got an award, right? So that is the one challenge that is being there. And the most satisfying thing with the startup that I see, because when I launched, I didn't have any mentor or something. But when I'm mentoring some startups, their founders, I interact with them and their vision. So when I see that, okay, with my advice, even 1% change is being made to the startup. It might be a marketing tip, it might be a business tip, it might be I'm connecting some startup founder to a VC. Uh, and when I get a positive feedback, thank you so much. It was because of you I get to this particular VC. Because of you, I can actually understand this is how I need to have my target audience. So that is the most satisfying thing that you get, that okay, with your little experience you are impacting the startup in a maybe positive way. So that is the most fulfilling thing as a startup founder I get.
And what was your experience while having the first startup and you launch and having the success upon it? What was the main experience that you get?
See, when I launched the first startup, uh, I didn't have any blueprint, I didn't have any pitch deck, I didn't have any co-founder, founder, valuation, all these terminologies that we generally see when you launch a startup.
True.
I didn't have any understanding or a knowledge about the same. The only purpose that I launched my startup and left the home, that I don't want to be framed as I'm an unsuccessful startup entrepreneur. And that label is a very difficult to digest. So if someone call you, you are not successful, you failed, okay, so that label I didn't want it in my head. So that was a pure passion that I just stick to it. I know that it will take up a time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Maybe one day it was completely break even. I used to sell the stuff on Novelike just to pay the rent. So I reached to that stage, but I still made sure, okay, I need to be there on the cricketing ground. I don't want to see myself as a retired hut and go back to pavilion. It's just that one fine day it will completely change, and it happened. So that is the most fascinating thing, that success definitely would come if you are just be into it. Just you need to consistently do your best every day. That is a simple mantra. There is no rocket science. Something you just need to be good at every single day.
True, true, true.
That's it.
And how was your experience while having the doctor in digital marketing and what changes it brought to you?
It is when you add a doctor, it just add a bit ego. To be honest with you, because we are having a candid discussion. It adds it's a bit ego that you are a doctor. Uh, you try to hide your real personality in front of people. Uh, and it's just the level that I sometimes feel not comfortable with, to be very honest. Okay, it's good to be called doctor, but when you add a doctor, there is certain roles and responsibility people perceive in a different way.
Yep.
So at times I'm not able to genuinely communicate something which I'm very honest about it. uh, uh, so doctor degree comes with the certain pros and cons. uh, so that is my take on doctorate, but the it's great that I got it because of the my contribution to digital industry, the books that I've written. uh, but I don't wear a doctor flag 24/7. It's just that when I'm speaking at certain conclave, or maybe I'm speaking at some universities, So that is where it's good to have, but I don't wear a hat of doctor and treat everyone as a patient, but yeah, everyone as a friends, and that is how I can have a very good raw conversation and I can share my experiences. That is what I truly believe in.
That's great. And you said that you have written two books. How was that experience, and what was the one major experience that you had written in your books and is, still continuing with your life and it's going on?
Writing a book was a very challenging and very difficult because as a in a childhood we used to read many books. When we grew up, we used to read many books. When I was doing MBA, we used to read many marketing books, many finance books, many organization books, many startup books as well. So now, from a training to turning to author, it was something very different ball game. Some students suggested that, sir, you have immense experience, or maybe the very basic experience that okay, with digital industry, I've seen it up and down from starting in the nascent stage to where it is. So I guess if you write a book with your experiences, it would be a good handbook for students who are entering into this industry with your experiences. So because I started getting the suggestions, so I now then I thought of taking the suggestion seriously, and then I started giving a serious thought. Every day I used to write it down in the different sections, what content should be there in my book, what are the topics that I need to cover in every topic, how I can make the book very interesting, not a boring which other books normally that you found on Amazon. Because I being a if I'm a reader, I want book to be uh like a Rohit Shetty movie, very entertaining, and not a 80s 90s movie which is very boring. So I wanted to have that touch into my book. So if you read my book, it is less of a text, but more of a images, more of a infographics, more of the examples, more of a case study. And it's a very short book. So it's not like something, you're reading 1,000 page, 2,000 page. It's just a small book, 150, 180 pager book, with a very practical exposure in digital industry. So it was a very good learning experience. And to put your experience in the thought is a very challenging thing. Yeah, you have 100 thoughts, but putting into the right words, writing it down, structure it out, and then put it out for readers to read it out. It was a bit challenging. Experience was very good, and I glad that readers and especially our students and wherever the books are in the library, I till now got a very positive feedback and review about the book. So that motivated me to write another book as well. So it was a good experience, and right now working on a third book as well. So I hope so. Third book also get a good appreciation as well.
So you're on to writing the third book as well.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's nice. And you said that, we got to know that you are doing doctorate from USA. Mostly people, when they do any master's or any graduation or any type of education from abroad, they tend to stay there. But you came back to India and started doing your, education, your training here in India. But what made you come back to India?
Yeah. So just to clear it out, so there are two types of doctorate. One is the PhD doctorate, where you publish a research paper and you get the doctorate. In my case, it was an honorary doctorate, generally been received by the top politicians, bureaucrats, once they receive the honorary doctorate from the prestigious university. So I basically received the honorary doctorate. So I'm very fortunate to not to go to USA, and because of my contribution in terms of the books that I written, in terms of the articles that I published on the leading news media, in terms of my contribution, in terms of the training that I did, transform the digital industry in terms of the impact that I created. So on my particular experience, the University Victoria University decided to honor me with the honorary doctorate. I was the youngest doctorate to receive the prestigious doctorate degree, and that was a truly remarkable and out of the box feeling. So yeah, that was the experience of adding a doctor to my book.
And how was your starting initial careers of educating people about digital marketing and blockchain? And what was the most memorable experience that you have still remember while educating people?
Becoming a trainer for someone was always a backbencher, imagine that it's a very difficult task because I was never a topper. I was always a backbencher. Now, if I become a trainer, so you can imagine if I'm training people, I always had a different perspective. And I am an accidental trainer. I never took any specific courses, training, or how to become a trainer, right? So when I become a trainer, I started understanding and analyzing about students, how they perceive the particular topic, not specifically about digital marketing. So when they are attending any classes, once they are attending any sessions, uh, what are their time span, how they get bored, how they find the session interesting, what are the moments basically they that make that session very stand out. I started going more into the psychology aspect of the student. That is something that I found it very important. And then I understood, okay, teaching is a very different and very difficult art form that very few teacher have mastered upon.
True.
So when you talk about teacher, it's not just about having a B.Ed degree, but you need to have a doctorate in how you can have an impact onto the students. And that is something which is lacking majorly in entire India. I'm not talking about just digital marketing, but to take irrespective of any subject, right? So maybe in your college as well, there might be one professor uh, that is very favorite, like students' favorite professor, just because the way he conduct the class, the way he makes the session very memorable. Okay, the way he makes a bond as well. So that makes the teacher stand out. So that is the kind of the quality, that is the way you simplify the learning outcome, right? And that was the main important part that I started learning, and that is how I made my all sessions very funny, very memorable. So when you talk about education is always boring since childhood. So when you ask your parents when you were a kid, so when you were asked to go to school, you're always crying. You are like, no, I don't want to go to school. But when you say you need, I will go to watch movies, you need to watch web series, you're always happy. But
True.
at the same time, you are consuming the some sort of education, some content from the school as well, from the series, from movies as well. It's just that the communication is just that how you are making an impact. So that was something I started implementing in my class, and I started suggesting, okay, don't take this class as a something that you are coming here and it's not a boring class, right? So I generally, in my class, I tell them, okay, let's see any movie, let's see any web series, let's go out for a walk as well. Okay, let's go out to any picnic spot. So I started making the learning in a very fun way, and I glad that people like it. Whatever. This was the most elaborative answer, very boring answer, but that was much needed.
No, no, no. It's never a boring answer when you can learn from someone like you. And uh, you have mentioned you have over 32,000 people, professional people have educated from you and have been training from you. So how was it like, and having this much bunch of people in your lifetime? When I think it's a very remarkable job that you have done. And how was it for you?
Yeah, still a very limited number, I feel, because I still consider myself as young. Although I have a white hair, but still I'm young. And 32,000 is a very small number. I want to add more zeros to this number because India is a white population, and I still see there is a huge scope. And there are students who are kind of looking to launch their startup in the looking to start their the career in digital AI, blockchain. They still look for someone to have their guide, have their mentor, have their trainer. So still lots of work to done. It's still I guess 1%, 2% work that I done. So never be satisfied with your work. That is something that I always understood. If you consider that you had done enough, that is where you start going down. So always be like, okay, this is a very 1% work that you done. Still lots to do. So that is how you keep on improving, keep on impacting more and more people.
And how was the session was conducting like Pakistan women? You have even trained them as well. Over 183 people you have done, and even to the young women, how were they like? Like how was that experience, and what motivated you to towards that area?
I guess that is very. very interesting experience. I would like to elaborate as well. When our team, when our team and their team started, having discussion, and the first thought that I came is okay. That was during the COVID time. The situation between India and Pakistan was bit on sensitive side, and training from India to Pakistan. It was when you hear for the first time, okay, some Indian trainer he's in Pakistan. The first thing comes into mind, okay, it would be very sensitive. It's an online thing, so that was the first thing that I came into my mind. That okay, I train domestically, train internationally as well, but Pakistan was something uh was a very unique experience for me. And a first instance, when the first session began, it used to be at the 9 in the night, and there was a close monitoring on the words that I'm speaking. I need to be very particular about every word that I'm speaking that is not hurting any religious or any political sentiments as well. So I need to be very particular about it as well. And when the session got ended, uh, uh, when I got the feedback that when my session used to be uh, people from across the Pakistan. So from Lahore to Karachi to the border aspect of Jammu and Kashmir to Faisalabad. There are students where they're from all aspect of Pakistan, and their family used to attend the session. So the student was there, the parents was there, and they used to turn their all the TB off, and they used to be onto the session. And at the end of the session, they are like, "This was the best session that I've ever attended." And they actually invited me to Pakistan. Ki whenever you come down to Pakistan, we will give you the street food tour as well. So, and they have taught me some of the Urdu language as well. And that is how see the impact and the perception they might be having for India, because there is always, when we think about India versus Pakistan, uh, we think from a lenses of the political side or religious side. But when you speak to the common citizens of Pakistan, they are just like us. It's just that the border which is separating us from them. But when you actually interact with them, the common citizen, they are the most lovable and most jam of the person student that you ever meet. And that was the most memorable experience of training the students of Pakistan. And it was a great, yeah, very memorable experience for me.
That's nice. And you have been doing social initiatives as well. And how would that and what impact would they have made on you and career, what you are doing? And how is it going ahead?
Yeah, so see, to be the stage that I've reached currently, it is very important for me to have a very important social impact as well, because that is something that makes you doing something for the society. Although with my training, the students that are getting their right career path, some basically getting their right startup on the right track, some housewife basically entering into the second phase of their career. So that is something that we are doing it since last 10 years and impacting the society not at the local level but international level as well. And with the Pakistan that you mentioned, we are doing training in Dubai. We are training students in Nigeria as well. So we are impacting the life across the world with only one vision that okay, uh, with the digital, with the upskilling, at least if the students getting some of the basic fundamental support in terms of doing something which can earn them good amount of money to have a livelihood, that is the most satisfying role that is any entrepreneur can have. And I'm very glad that I'm making that change, making that impact since last 10 years. And I'm definitely looking forward for further as well in associating with governments, NGOs as well, in direct or indirect way.
And which is your next goal, or country, or wherever you want to go ahead with the digital marketing? Like you say that you have been doing into Dubai and everywhere. And what's the next goal now?
I'm looking specifically in the South Africa region, as I'm being closely. connecting with the South African government, their digital and IT minister. Malai is very good friend of mine now, so I'm being connecting with him, and I look South Africa has a very good potential, and I look forward. If you ask me the next destination, South Africa is something that I'm actually looking for with the Association of South Africa government.
Okay. And you have been having 5 startups in your hands, and moreover, having being the advisory of many other startups. How did you make this startup in a very successful manner and keeping it afloat and having the heads up against the other competing fields in this area? And how do you do that?
It's all about having a right captain at the right team. So if the captain is not right, obviously the team would not win. As simple as that. So I take the startup as a cricketing team. So any cricketing team only will win when they are playing their best 11 players, and their all 11 players have a single vision to make the team win at any cost, and they are basically understand what their strength, what are their weaknesses. So I see cricket and startup are almost at the same line. So in a startup, if it wants to succeed, they need to have a best 11 member team with their best strength, maybe in the tech level, maybe in the communication, maybe in the sales, maybe in marketing, maybe in recruitment, maybe into the fundraise and everything. So once they have a best team, commanding with the best CEO, commanding with the best mentor, and have their vision clearly set, and they have a patience to at least for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, definitely that startup got to success. So the simple formula is just setting the right people in the right place and giving them the clear direction, and just be there whenever they require. And that is the mantra for any startup success.
I had just have one question, which I'm very curious about. You talked about having writing the third book now, and what's the one getaway that people are gonna get from and readers are gonna get from the book that you're gonna written, and what the books have you written as well in the past, like the 2 books you have written? What are the key getaway from people can get and have a keys to digital marketing and in every perspective?
Yeah, so the third book that I'm writing, I'm just giving you the sense of it. So you might have seen the AI bubble, okay, the kind of the artificial intelligence impact that is having on complete ecosystem of startup, whether you talk about recruitment, whether you talk about marketing, whether it was sales or any business. So my book is more about post COVID, how the business got transformed coupled with the AI integration, and how it is impacting the startup business at a larger scale. That is something which I'm currently working on. And the key takeaway that I keep telling people is that digital marketing or digital media is a vast ocean. It's like a Pacific Ocean, but people generally tend to take it as a small river, small pond. Okay, they understood. Okay, this is something that is very easy to jump in, and okay, they understood. Okay, this is something which is digital media, AI is. But actually, if you just jump into it, it's like a Pacific Ocean. It's a vast, it's depth, and it keep on changing every single time. So that is something the key takeaway from the entire book, because this book include all the transformation the digital industry has seen over the past couple of years. So and it is keep getting changes. So with AI, the industries keep getting impacted. So it's not just that okay, you learned something and you consider yourself master. It's a huge industry, and you need to be there consistently to be master at it.
Okay. And what advice would you like to give to the new entrepreneurs and people who are, thinking upon doing a startup? And what is the one advice or one small, just a key uh, idea which you can give to people and how do they gonna get in the booming session?
Simple thing, avoid all the distraction, all the noise, and keep on continuing doing what they are doing. It's as simple as that. No gyan, nothing. Just avoid all the distractions that you see on social media, all the valuation boom, all the theories, all the talks, all the stories about they are doing what, they are doing this, did this, so I need to follow this. Just avoid all the distraction, and whatever thing that you set up, okay, this is what something that I want to achieve. Just keep on doing consistently every single day and have a bigger vision. It's not that okay, one day went good, one day went bad. You don't need to, feel motivated, demotivated. You just need to understand that, okay, like it's just a simple thing. We give 2 years to MBA. All you need to give is just 2 years to your startup. Simple. Give 2 years. You can't become master in anything in either 7 days or 1 month or 2 months. Just give 2 years consistently with the right team. It it will succeed. And a success parameter is never the funding. You need to remember. It might be your first startup is not succeeding, or it will give you some of the learnings, right? So success mantra can't be, your success KPI can't be the revenue or the valuation or something. You don't need to dishearten. So you need to set a small target, small goals, and keep on working to achieve the same, and just be there consistently. Give a time. Right now I see entrepreneurs, they are just, you know starting on a day one, closing on day 30, again new startup, again closing out. They need to have a consistency for 2 years and have a good mentor as well.
So anyone who hears hear about digital marketing, the only thing that they start to think upon is upon having Instagram and Facebook as something which is the first click they think upon, and whatever they see on Instagram is what they say is a digital marketing. But is it the reality or it's just a myth?
So, like just I stated, like digital media is a big ocean. So social media, Facebook, Instagram, they are just a small medium where users are spending a time. People are consuming the content because it's trending. The algorithm picked your preferences, and that is the reason you spend the time into it. And so you just need to understand, it's Facebook, Instagram. It's just a tiny part of the entire digital media industry. And once you spend the time, you understand that is how digital media works. Not just social media, website, content, SEO, advertisement, performance, programmatic, e-commerce, affiliate, D2C, WhatsApp, email, Quora, Pinterest, and there are many more. So you need to be spending time on it, understand algorithm. Just I what I say is, just you need to date any platform. So just like when when you decide to, if you meet someone, you just don't marry on a single day, right? Like you met someone and you marry on first day. Like you spend the time, we become friends, you spend quality time, and then you decide whether you are compatible, your interest or preference match, and then you finally decide to date and then marry, right? The same happens on digital
True.
media platforms. So you just can't open a Facebook account or spend time on Instagram and then you realize, okay, I mean, okay, this is how you'll start getting results. You need to be spending time, understand the algorithm, how it works, not, and everything, and accordingly use.
So, what is the one
Mhm.
keynote that you want to give it to people who are, pursuing their career upon digital marketing, and even who are inspiring upon or aspiring upon the career of digital marketing?
Digital marketing, see, right now digital marketing is changing with the AI, artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, Gemini, and there are, like, 100,000 AI tools you might have, seen on Instagram Reels, on Google as well. So AI is playing a good role in impacting the content, graphics, video, and ultimately the preference of users. So what I believe is that how the psychology of the consumer, those who are consuming the content, how that is getting shaped with the content that are viewing, and how much time they are spending on the digital media 24/7. So you just need to spend. So what I do generally, just ask them, just spend time with your target customer, what they are doing on digital media, how much time they are spending, what content they are viewing, how much content they are consuming, taking seriously, on what aspect, on what time zone they are consuming the content. So that is something, that is very key to get the preference and psyche of the customer, what they generally perceive from the digital media, and accordingly you'll understand that is how the your TG is preferring the content on digital, and then you start making, utilizing whether AI, whether your own technique, just to make content more relatable. So, for example, you went to have a South Indian, and the restaurant serve you North Indian. It just doesn't match, right? So that is how the
True.
content consumption works. So you need to be spending time with customers to understand what they want on digital media.
What, so to in a, on inspiring note, what how would you conclude your entrepreneurship career and as well as your career from the starting from that is from college level till now, very crux manner, and how will you go ahead and how it is going to be like in the future as well?
I'm still learning. I'll not say I'm accomplished entrepreneur. I'm very privileged to be on the platform of Shivaji University you invited, and I feel very privileged that I got this platform to share my experiences. But still, I don't consider myself as someone who has a good knowledge or experience. It's just a 10-15 years of knowledge experience that I'm doing something that I love doing it. Because that once you enter into that zone, you start become egoistic, you start become having sense that okay, once you start having the aspect that okay, you know everything, and that is what you stop consuming the new things. So I still consider myself as a someone who very curious to know what is happening around in my industry, how it is impacting my customers at large or general at large as well. So I'm just you'll consider I'm a curious entrepreneur where I'm learning still learning every single day, and that's it. So I guess you need to call me 1 year 2 year down the line again just to have more insight into it, and I would be able to
True.
contribute more into the questions that you ask.
Thank you, Dr. Raj, for sharing your insightful journey. For our listeners, remember success is built upon passion, perseverance, and purpose. Be sure to subscribe for more inspiring videos. Until next time, keep pushing forward with your dreams.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much. It was pleasure being at TCell Shivaji University, and all the best to everyone who part of your podcast team. It was a great time. Be there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.